The fact that today is May 1st is actually so crazy to me, but May is going to be such a good month. But April just flew by and it's kind of hard to wrap my head around. But I read 5 books in the month of May, which is less than I think I was hoping to read, but still pretty good. And I really enjoyed a lot of the books that I read this month. So overall, I would consider that a win. So today I'm just going to run through all of the books that I read in April and give you my thoughts on all of them. So we're not gonna waste any time. We're just gonna jump right in. The first book that I read in April was the second book in the Mistborn Era 1 trilogy, and that is The Well of Ascension. In the story, we're picking right back up where we left off from the first story. And of course, I won't share too much because the series is definitely worth the read. But this one was really interesting because you really dive deeper with so many of the characters that you love. And then also there's just like a ton of political intrigue, whereas in the first book, you're really focusing on world building, you're focusing on the heist, the Lord Ruler, what's happening in Luthadel, and in this, you kind of wrap up that storyline in the first book, and then you're starting to deal with sort of what the aftermath of that first book looks like. Again, a ton of political intrigue and very interesting character work in here. Brandon Sanderson doesn't have the strongest characters, I would say, but I do really enjoy quite a few of the characters, and there were a few moments where I was like, oh snap, didn't see that coming. Very good, very, very good. I'm super excited to continue on in this series. I believe I'll be reading the third book, The Hero of Ages, in May. So I'll be excited to wrap this trilogy up, but definitely would recommend the Mistborn series as sort of a jumping off point if you're interested in getting into Brandon Sanderson's work, because very, very good. Next, I listened to Vera's Wong Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man. It's a very long title, but this is the second book in the kind of cozy mystery series that follows a character named Vera Wong who owns a tea shop in San Francisco. One day, a man drops dead in the middle of her tea shop, and so she does not feel like the police are doing that good of a job investigating his death. So she takes it upon herself to do the investigating, and she's just like the most hilarious Chinese mother, and you have to listen to this on audiobook because Eunice Wong, the narrator, she just brings these characters to life. Her performance just makes the book that much funnier. It's really, really good. So if you're looking for like a fun, cozy mystery series, I would definitely recommend the Vera Wong series. This one was the second book that came out, and I think I loved this one more than the first one. The first one, you're kind of getting to know Vera. There's lots of found family. In the second one, the stakes feel a little bit higher. There's still that like classic Vera element to it, which I absolutely love, but there's some interesting character dynamics between people that are in Vera's life regularly that I think were really fun to read about. There's kind of an illusion as to what a third book might look like in this series, which I'm very excited about. So highly recommend this. Amazing cozy mystery, must listen to on audiobook. The next book that I read was of course The Hobbit. This is the one I was most anticipated to read in the month of April, so I was happy to be able to get through this. As I was reading this, it was so interesting because I've never read the book before. I'd only ever seen the movies, and as I was reading the book, I was like, how did they turn this into 3 movies? This is not a long book. This is not a long book. It's like maybe, yeah, it's like 300 pages. So the fact that they turned this into 3 movies is actually kind of crazy to me. And I was like, when's Legolas gonna come in? He's not in this book. That is a creative liberty taken by Peter Jackson, which now it's kind of fun to see like the different things that they changed in the movies versus the book. But this is just like cozy adventure, really the kicking off point to one of the greatest stories ever told. I loved this. If you love Lord of the Rings, if you love the Hobbits, if you love just like the world of Middle Earth, it's so good. I loved it, and it's actually surprisingly a very easy read. There's also a lot of singing in this book, like so many songs. I loved it. I thought it was so fun. I am very excited to read the Lord of the Rings trilogy next month, but very much love this. This is absolutely going to be a comfort read of mine in the future. The next book that I read is The Wedding People, and this was my in-person book club's pick for the month of April, and this was so good. It was surprisingly darker than I had initially thought this was gonna be. I thought it was just gonna kind of be like maybe like a rom-com, maybe a little literary fiction, which it definitely is, but just like the darker themes right in the beginning about a woman who's sort of down on her luck, goes on this trip to kind of get away and treat herself before doing something crazy. Okay. She runs into the wedding people at this venue. She's the only person at this hotel who's not there for the wedding. So the bride is like, what are you doing here? You're gonna ruin everything with your little shenanigans. All of that ensues. You sort of see the relationship between the main character Phoebe and the bride sort of evolve over the book goes, and then you'd meet a bunch of interesting characters throughout. And I surprisingly really enjoyed this. It's a very fast read for me. I definitely see why it has such high ratings on Goodreads. I think it's rated over a 4-star on average on Goodreads with 500,000 reviews, which is insane. Also a great book club book pick because it definitely sparks some interesting conversations among my book club girlies. So I definitely would recommend that. And then the last book that I read was called A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen Peck. Oh my gosh, I'm still thinking about this book. It's 110 pages of pure existential dread, really. It's about this man who was a devout Mormon his whole life. When he dies, he finds himself sort of cast out by a god that he's never even heard of. He expected a very different version of heaven and hell. But basically he ends up in this library where you can't escape from hell once you find the story of your life on the shelves. So there's people there and they're all searching through this library for the story of their lives. That's all I'm gonna say because it's very interesting and it's a very quick read. I thought it was really, really well done. Definitely a 5-star read. Definitely something that I'm still thinking about today. I recommend reading it physically and not listening to it on audio. I didn't listen to it on audio, but the experience of just reading it and creating the visuals and really being slower with my reading of it, I feel like contributed much more to my enjoyment versus me sitting down and reading it all at once. My brain might have exploded. If you like theological horror and if you like a little bit of existential dread, maybe just a little bit, I think you would really enjoy this one. I love books like that really just have you thinking and questioning and seeing things from a different perspective, and I think this one definitely did that. You're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. Just depends. I am personally in the camp of people that absolutely love it. Definitely might be in one of my top reads of the year. We'll see. We're not even halfway through yet, so we will see. So yeah, those are all the 5 books that I read in the month of April. I had a great reading month. I pretty much enjoyed every single book that I read, which is all you can really ask for. I've had some months where I've just had a bunch of terrible books and it just put me in a major reading slump, but this month was really good and it just has me more excited and hyped up for May because I have a lot of fun books that I am excited to read. So make sure to check out my last video, which is my May TBR video, where I'm going through all of the books that I hope to read in the month of May, and there's like a lot on there. So make sure to check it out and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye!